have a really important update for you today, especially if you use text messages in your business in any way. Picture this. Imagine you're sending a simple text to promote your next webinar or whatever the heck you have going on, which you think is super harmless. But under a new law in Texas, that one text could end up costing you thousands of dollars in fines. That's what I'll be talking about today on the Automated Coach podcast. As of September 1st, 2025, Texas Senate Bill 140, which is better known as SB 140, that's what I'll be saying from now on, it has completely changed the game when it comes to sending SMS and MMS messages. So even if you don't live in Texas, if your message lands on a phone in Texas, this is going to apply to you. Super crazy. I'm just saying, super crazy. I know, but it's something that we all need to pay more attention to. What I'm going to talk about with you today, I want to talk about what the law actually says. I want to talk about how it impacts coaches like all of you and what steps you can take to stay safe and keep growing your business without risking major penalties. Now, before I even launch into all of this, let me be super, super clear. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm sharing based on the research that I have come across and done a deep dive into so far, but still, you're going to want to seek your own legal counsel. All right, now that I have that disclaimer out of the way, let's dive in. All right, let's start with the basics. So SB 140 went into effect, like I said, September 1st of this year, 2025, and it redefines what counts as telemarketing. So before, when you think of telemarketing, you usually think of those annoying phone calls you get during dinner. Although these days, it's the annoying phone calls all throughout the day. But now in Texas, telemarketing also includes text messages, picture messages, and even marketing graphics that are sent to somebody's phone. So again, as I'm talking, think about how you do business. How do you promote? How do you confirm appointments? All those sorts of things. And have that in mind as we're talking through here. So here's the big requirements, again, as of September 1st, 2025. First is registration. If you want to send text messages to Texas residents, you must register with the Secretary of State, pay a $200 annual fee, and post a $10,000 security bond. Did you get all that? Register, pay $200, post a $10,000 bond. Yeah, just that, I think, is going to knock a lot of people out and catch a lot of people off guard. Number two, consent. You must have documented proof that each person explicitly opted in to receive your text. Now that one, frankly, you should be doing anyway. Everybody already should be getting consent before sending automated text messages. And if you're not doing that, shame on you, because you should have been doing that all along. Number three is do not call. You cannot send text to numbers on the Texas do not call list. And if somebody opts out, you have to honor that immediately. So we need to know who is on the Texas do not call list in order to make sure that we're not sending text messages to them. My question, and we'll get to this later, my question is, if somebody's on the do not call list and they opt in to our text messaging, what the heck do we do then? To continue, next, quiet hours. Messages can only be sent between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday and after 12 p.m. on Sundays. And then finally, record keeping. You need to keep time-stamped proof of every opt-in, message, and opt-out and submit regular reports to the state. And the penalties for not doing this stuff are super steep. Each violation could cost you up to $5,000, $5,000. And if it's intentional, so, if you accidentally do it, they're going to get you for $5,000. And if it's intentional, those damages could be tripled. Meaning, if they could prove it was intentional, those damages can be tripled. So, why should you care if you're a coach? That should be pretty obvious, but let's talk about this. Does it really apply to you if you're a coach? Well, the answer is yes. Life coaches, business coaches, wellness coaches, any kind of coach, if you are sending text messages to promote your services or your events or your consultations to people, if those people are in Texas, the state considers you to be a telemarketer. So that's the part it's really, really important for you to grasp that if you are sending text messages, those automated text messages, you are a telemarketer. Again, according to the state of Texas. So this does indeed apply to you. And here's what makes this even riskier. There are very few exemptions. So nonprofits, brick and mortar stores, a few licensed professionals like lawyers or doctors might qualify, but coaches are not on that list. So yes, this applies to you. Next, clients in Texas can also sue you directly without going through a state agency. So that is definitely going to mean more lawsuits and less protection for small businesses. And then repeat lawsuits are allowed, even from the same person. So if you text the same person more than once, they could conceivably sue you multiple times. So even one text to the wrong person in Texas could spiral into thousands of dollars in penalties and legal fees. Alrighty, so what is this going to look like in real life? First of all, at the time I'm recording this on September 11th, 2025. So the ink's still wet on this. So we don't even know what this really, really is going to look like in real life. But so far, things for you to keep in mind. If you're sending out reminders about your group coaching program, for example, you're going to need proof that every single person on that list gave you written consent. And if you use an automation tool that pushes text messages outside of those quiet hours, like say at midnight or 6 a.m., keep in mind that that is a violation. So when you're sending automated text messages, make sure that either your system sets the times or for each specific text message, you're making sure that you are setting a window of when those text messages can go out. Think about it this way. If you accidentally text just 100 Texas residents without consent, that could equal $500,000 in potential fines. I did not misspeak. I did not stutter. Let's say that one more time. If you accidentally, or on purpose, but let's say that you accidentally send text messages to 100 Texas residents without consent, that could equal $500,000 in potential fines. It deserves saying 3 times, but just hit rewind. What makes this even more challenging is that because consumers can sue directly, attorneys are quite likely to start targeting small businesses for these violations because that's the low-hanging fruit. And that is what I'm just anticipating happening, is that attorneys are going to see this as a way to generate some income from people who are just sue happy, that might even, what I'm envisioning is people intentionally signing up for lists when they know that they are on the do not call register or something like that, and then turning around and suing people for that quick win or something like that. I definitely see some abuse happening here. And I think we have to wait for those lawsuits to start happening before there's some adjustments that are made to this whole thing. So what should you do? I'm going to give you 5 suggestions of what you need to do. Number 1, audit your list right now. So go into your list, identify anyone with a Texas phone number, and if you don't have proof of their consent, then stop texting them. So although I am saying that, here's the challenge with that. I currently live in California, but when I got my phone, I lived in New Jersey and I've never changed my cell phone number. So my cell phone still has a New Jersey area code, even though I live in California. And I wonder, I'm sure that's the case with some people inside the state of Texas, that they might live in Texas, but their phone number might be outside of Texas. So just doing a search based on Texas area codes might not identify everybody who is a Texas resident. And if you haven't collected information about where your contacts live, so that you don't have an address, you don't have a state for them, then, you don't have that to search on. But that's just one thing to consider. Number two is to review your opt-in process. So make sure it's very explicit. That means that people clearly agree to receive your text and not just some kind of hidden consent where in the fine print that they signed up for this over here, that automatically means that they're going to start getting text messages. You want to make sure that there is a clear checkbox that they are acknowledging that they want to get text messages from you. Third thing you want to do is update your automations. So set rules in your system to suppress or block Texas numbers unless you're registered and compliant. That is just another check for, does this person live in Texas? Does this person have such and such in their area code? And again, that's not going to be perfect if we haven't gathered all that information about people, but it's something. Number four, decide if SMS is worth it. So paying that $200 fee every year and having a $10,000 bond in place might not make sense for your business model. And if it doesn't, just focus on other channels. Just stop sending SMS messages until all this dies down and we figure out how people are going to proceed with this. And then number five, talk to an attorney. Because like I said, there are some exemptions, but the exemptions are very narrow and the burden of proof is going to be on you. So if there's any chance that your texts are going to go to Texas, then you're going to need some expert advice. And like I said, I'm giving you high level information. I am not the expert advice. I am just giving you this general information, meaning, once again, this is not legal advice. I'm sharing this information with you. Just want to keep saying that because you're not going to come back and try to put something on me for just sharing the information. Although I will keep you all in the loop as I learn more. So again, remember, you have options, okay? So instead of relying on SMS, you can double down on your email nurture campaigns. They are safer and they're still highly effective. Just cut out the text messaging, just send emails. You can also use social media direct messages, social media DMs for conversations whenever appropriate. That is not the same thing. You're not sending it to a phone number, so it's not treated the same way. And then lean on your online communities or your podcast, such as this, your podcast, webinars, all of these other sources to engage your audience. And then if you do choose to keep on texting, just make sure it's only with existing clients who've already given clear consent. And again, keep those records airtight. I would add one more to do to this list. If you don't know if your existing contacts live in Texas or not, then perhaps this is also an opportunity for you to reach out and gather information about your existing contacts. You could send them a form. I mean, this actually is kind of perfect positioning to gather more information about your current contacts. Send them a form that's asking them to update their information and ask them for that information. Let them know that you need to know where they live so that you can send information out and that you need to document this information. Also, perhaps use that to get an updated phone number, perhaps also use it to get their birthday if you want to be able to send out birthday messages. Perhaps also use it to ask one or two questions that'll help you with other types of segmentation. So we'll embrace this as a potential opportunity and not see it as the disaster that it probably is. So we're not going to stress ourselves out about it because all we can do is work within these limitations. Here's the bottom line. Texas SB 140 is going to raise the stakes for SMS marketing. The days of casually blasting out texts are over. They've actually been over because you still should have been asking people to opt in all along anyway. But if we want to stay out of legal hot water, we need to keep all these things in mind. The law is not about scaring you. It's about making sure you are protected, because the last thing I want is for a coach who's working hard to build her business up to just get derailed by lawsuits or five-figure fines. And then from the consumer's perspective, they're trying to avoid people getting the dumb text messages. I'm looking at my text messages now. Hey, we have your $84,000 ready. What? Or this other one that's like, hey, my name is Isabella and I'm a recruiter at the blah, blah, blah company. Really? Or those ones that are, hey, are you coming to dinner? Like a generic from who knows who, some stranger. So I see the good. I understand what they're trying to do. I understand the need for it. I'm just concerned about the impact that it's going to have on all of us who actually legitimately use SMS marketing the way it was intended to help us grow and engage with our customers. Now, if you are unsure whether your automations are compliant, or if you just want peace of mind and want to talk further about your automation in general, then I'm going to encourage you to go to miniautomationaudit.com, miniautomationaudit.com, and we can set up a time to talk about your automation in general. We can talk about your SMS. We can talk about your email marketing in general to figure out what you can do to make sure that you are appropriately interacting with your contacts. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, protect your business and protect your peace. And I'll talk to you next time on the Automated Coach podcast.